So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Starfire. So let's start the series. The blonde smelled the delicious aroma of burgers, fish, and even steak as Naruto pulled into a nearby diner and sat down, taking out all of his pouches and making sure to keep his tail tucked in. He reached into his pocket and took out a wallet that contained a $20 bill instead of a credit card, state card, or even identification. $15 for a steak. What's the kids' menu got? Oh come on. $10 for a dinner choice yeesh, the blonde said, looking at a menu that had been on the table while some of the prices on it made his eyes itch a little. The diner was playing much older music. Hey there darling, I'm Jessie, I'll be your server today, a woman said, breaking his attention. What can I get you to drink? Water. Naruto loudly said as he got nervous slightly. The woman had caught him off guard. Can I get a lemon too? Sure thing sweetie, she said walking away. Naruto looked back over the menu, and smiled as he looked at chili. It has been a while since he last had chili, and that was all the way back in Kentucky. The best chili he ate was from Wheeler Diner, and it was only $5 for a bowl, a good-sized bowl of the good down south mixture. The blonde twiddled his thumbs as he leaned back in the chair, and relaxed. Now that he was in LA it would only be a 3 days journey along the coastline to Jump City. The blonde was hoping, at least, that the crime wave was still going strong. Naruto's sole motivation for going to Jump was to battle villains, and he did so almost everywhere in America. He didn't have a personal grudge against them, rather, he simply detested those who teased others and treated them like trash. At times, he questioned whether he could strike a politician in the face and get away with it. Mentally he made a note to think about that later, and jotted it down for another day. He could smell his chili now, and it had a spicy smell to it. However, he then watched as the door slammed open, and 2 men walking hastily in. The waitress, Jessie, looked at them as she backed up instinctively, but watch one of the men pull a pistol out of his belt line. Everybody get the hell down, this is a robbery. He shouted as she pointed the gun at Jessie, move. The woman complied as she walked over to the diner's register. The other man turned his attention to the lone patron in the diner. He walked over to the table, and took a sit. A sick smirk was laced across his lips. He looked at the blonde boy in his eyes, and smiled even more sinister. Hey there brat, shouldn't you be going to mommy and daddy? We're gonna be doing some bad things in here, you should go, the man ordered threateningly as he pulled a knife out of his pocket, and out it on the table. Nah, the blonde merely uttered as he flipped out of the seat, but made sure to kick the boot into the man's stomach. Landing on the table behind him, the blonde reached into a pouch, and pulled a needle out of his pouch. Everything seemed to slow down as the gunman turned around, aiming his pistol towards Naruto. The blonde became a blur as he jumped off the table in a stride, and twisted in the air. Giving his throw momentum, the blonde hurled the needle as hard as he could. The man couldn't react as the needle impacted his wrist, making him lose control of his hand holding the gun. The metal weapon clattered against the ground, bouncing around a little bit. Smirking as he hit the ground, Naruto ran to the man and jabbed him 3 times across his chest and stomach, each finger pressing in a straight line up on the man's body, causing it to seize up. The man fidgeted, which was his only available movement, before being thrown at the other's shoulder, much to the waitress's surprise, and the blonde threw the man into his accomplice. Ha! Naruto yelled as he stood up on his right foot, and folded his left leg over his right knee, puncturing Fox twin finger technique. He noticed that they weren't moving, and fidgeted slightly. Oi, are you okay? The men moaned in pain as he blinked his eyes. Help. Wha come on, if you can't keep up a little Fox, you can't possibly be criminals, you're weak. The blonde insulted as he dropped his stance as he walked over to the 2. Want to leave, eh? Why yes. The men moaned weakly as they held their afflicted areas. Sighing, Naruto looked at them dead in the eye, Fox twin finger healing technique. He lightly jabbed the inflicted areas, before pulling the needle out of the man's wrist. He did so quickly, eliciting only a quick yelp from the would-be robber. Okay, there you go. Jessie, who had ran to the back, was now calling the police. She watched as the boy looked at the men, and then saw something moving in his shirt behind him. You little brat, we'll get you one day for this. The lead man groaned as he slowly got up. Oh, I don't think so, Naruto retorted with a cocky smile. Oh, and why's that? The man turned around, only to see a group of cops walk towards the door. Because my dear Watson, Naruto joked as he twiddled his needle around, and poked his teeth with it, it was only a matter of time. That woman. The man shouted as he saw Jessie cowering in the kitchen. So, when doesn't a scared person not call the police? The boy suddenly snapped his fingers. Horror movies, bingo. Excuse me, a policeman said as he entered the building, I'm going to need to these bad men away right now, please tell the hero that was here thank you. But I'm the one that held them here. Naruto shouted as he pointed his thumb at himself. Not such a smartass, yeah. One of the men said, pipe it crook, or I am sending another needle into your wrist. Naruto shouted as he quickly snatched a needle from his back pouch. Databeo. Easy there tiger, now why don't we all just calm down, you two come with me, the cop said as he motioned for the two crooks, while drawing his Glock out and pointing it at the criminals. No funny business. The two men complied, walking towards the cop, and the leader accepted his fate and walked out the door peacefully. The other, on the other hand, as he walked right next to the cop, reached for the man's gun, managing to wrestle him for it. Jessie took cover behind the counter, while Naruto watched as they struggled for the weapon. The blonde twiddled his needle around, waiting for the moment he possibly couldn't hit the cop. What he didn't expect was the gun going off, as he half expected its safety to foolishly be on. Naruto could only trace the bullet as it flew out of the ground, and right into his temple, knocking him backwards onto the ground. The cop managed to wrestle the gun away from the man, before knocking him out cold with a headbutt. You murderer! He screamed as he pointed the gun at the man. We got a shooting Vic at Casey's diner, please send an ambulance there. The cop stopped as he saw the boy get up, the crushed bullet falling off the middle of his temple, leaving a noticeable whelp on his head. The blonde felt of the area, before scrunching his face in pain. Ouch! What the hell, Databeo? Are you trying to kill me, Databeo? That frigging hurts, Databeo. Rah! The blonde dashed at the man blinding speeds, dragon kicking him out of the restaurant's doors. The man landed hard on the ground, past the cop cars, with heaving blonde standing at the door holding his forehead with one hand. Stay out, or I'll kick you to the moon, Databeo. Naruto screamed as he walked back into the diner. He grabbed the ice from his water, and placed it on his forehead, which had already began to heal. He moaned slightly from the ice. Much better, much better. The boy shivered slightly as the ice melted in his hand, sending ice-cold water down his face. Soon the red bruise that laced the area of impact from the bullet slowly faded back to the blonde's normal light tan skin. Slowly the blonde calmed as his heart slowly went from something akin to rapid gunfire, a normal rationalized person's cornea. He sniffed the air, then looked at Jessie, and smiled. Miss, I think my chili is burnt, Databeo, Naruto said while rubbing the back of his head. Naruto walked out of the diner, and left it in a mostly clean state. The table he had been sitting at was full of bowls, all of it had been full of chili. He even got to keep his $20, which ended solidifying his first day in California as a major success. The young blonde was currently walking down the highway, his gut slightly bulging from all the chili he ate. Yada, Californian chili isn't as good as Kentucky chili, but man, it's close. However, none compare to ramen. I hope they got a noodle shop around this place. Speaking of around this place, hope there is more bad guys, my blood's pumping Databayo. Naruto laughed broadly as he mumbled, oi, oi. I got an idea, I could just use my clone technique to look about the city. Wait, no, I'm too full for it to work right, my chakra is off balance. The blonde snapped his fingers, oi, oi. Any bad guys on the highway, I'll fight ya. $20, come on and get 'em while it's slightly wet from my booty sweat Databayo. A pregnant pause followed as he kept walking. Some the people on the highway looked at him out of their cars as if he had grown a second head. The blonde just sighed as he continued walking towards the city. Yada, yada, walk along the lines, man, those troops, uphold your rifles, stiffen your drink, and kiss many girls. General Butanone's army goes marching in, yeah, marching in. Naruto sung in his head as he started to march to kill his boredom. The blonde looked at the overpass above him, and crouched down, wiggling himself a little bit. He jumped up, clearing the overpass's railing by just a few feet and landed in a group people, scaring them slightly, making them back away immediately. Gomen, Gomen. Naruto yelled slightly as he rubbed the back of his head, before walking towards the city via the overpass's walkways. A car careened down the highway at breakneck speeds, knocking other cars over. Naruto turned around to see the commotion and his eyes lit up with excitement. Finally, yeehaw. The blonde jumped over several cars, and jumped off others as he dashed towards the car. The masked men inside the car were laughing as they held several bags full of money, save for the driver. Yo Frankie, that was great man. One man said as he watched their driver, Frankie, drive around the traffic. Cops didn't know what to do, we busted out the nose. Yeah, ain't nothing though, we got some good cash here, what you going to buy first? One in the back asked as he jingled the back a little. Probably a luxury car, like a Bugatti, or Ferrari, Frankie said as he looked at his rearview mirrors. Huh, that's odd, could a sworn someone was catching up to us. No way man, you got this thing rolling at 90 right now, nothing short of Batman, and he's all the way in Gotham. A large thump on the roof of the car silenced the men, before they looked at each other. Johnny, check it out, Frankie ordered. Johnny, the guy sitting next to the driver, pulled his gun out as he dropped the bag he had. He opened the window as they turned into a wide-open traffic-free road. The man angled himself so he could look on top of the roof, and almost dropped his gun in shock. Sup dude, Naruto said as he was crouched down, and looking directly at the man. The foo-ah. Naruto punched him right in the middle of the head. The man was barely conscious as he was pulled back into the car. Kill that brat. Johnny screamed as he pointed his gun randomly at the roof. The group began firing into the roof, minus the driver, and sprayed their bullets across the top. They stopped firing, and just looked at each other. Get him? Johnny inquired as they looked around. I think so, hell yes. The man in back shouted. They began to celebrate, before the driver heard a knock at the window. He turned, his eyes wide open, and staring back him was the blue ocean-like eyes Naruto, who was running full sprint, his arms crossed. He held a bullet, crushed, in his hand as he pointed it at Johnny. Huh. Johnny went, before the glass broke on the driver's side, and a small crushed bullet impacted him in the head, knocking him out cold. Who the hell are you? Frankie screamed. Sonic the Hedgehog, duh, can't you tell by how fast I am Databayo? Naruto winked as he slowly started to run backwards, so heading to Jump City too. Huh, what, no screw this. Frank yelled as he tried to steer his car to ram Naruto. The blonde jumped over the car, falling behind it slightly, and began dodging the volley of bullets heading at him from the back drivers. His eyes narrowed into slits as he pulled 2 needles from his back pouch. Bounding with each step now, Naruto soon caught back up with the car, and threw one of the needles. The back passenger on the right fired his gun, only to hear it stop. Even after he reloaded, he saw in the chamber, and pricking his hand slightly was a needle, disabling his weapon. What the hell? He screamed as he reached for another gun. When he looked up, he saw his partner in the back being impacted by a needle in his collarbone, almost knocking him instantly, but they watched as the boy leaped into the air, before landing on the hood of their car. "Hey, sir, this is the police, would you kindly pull over?" Naruto jokingly questioned as he saw one reach for a gun. "Screw you!" Frankie screamed as he pulled the emergency brake. Naruto's eyes widened as he slammed into the windshield of the car, before toppling over the top of the car, rolling on the ground. The blonde clutched himself, and braced himself for each high-speed roll. On his final roll, he managed to angle himself to avoid being rolled over by semi. Getting up from the impact, his eyes became blood red. "Make me fly, will ya? I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the fox boy, and foxes don't fly." Naruto screamed as a red energy slowly seeped out of him. "Rafa." In a burst of speed, the blonde became a blur of red misty energy. Running along the semi, he leaped off it, and landed in front of the truck. His tail flared free as he reached behind his back, and pulled his sword out. The blade began to have a white misty substance flow around it. Half moon. The fox boy jumped into the air, and angled his sword above his head. Before bringing it to his side, he landed in front of the car. "Die!" Frankie screamed. "Just die, you freak!" "Rag!" Naruto roared as he slashed upwards with the blade. The concrete split apart as a narrow wall of white energy emerged from the sword, and sliced the car in half. The car split off before reaching Naruto, who had sheathed his sword back into its scabbard. The blonde's form slowly became tamer with the red mist-like energy seeping back into him. The car, having careened on the two separate ends of the highway, was now unusable to the criminals. The blonde looked as Frankie and Johnny tried to escape, dashing over on both ends of the highway at blaring speeds that any human eye could barely track up close. The blonde delivered a heavy blow to their heads with haymakers. They fell before they even knew what hit them. "Yada!" Naruto screamed as he jumped onto a sign. "Jump City, 1 mile, Databayo." "This is so great, I'm finally established somewhere. I mean, I liked the other places, but if this fox isn't near warm beaches then it's a no-go." Naruto commented as he detached himself onto a moving semi, unbeknownst to the driver, and others. The blonde could see the tall buildings, smell the thick industrial smog that hanged over the city, and small little restaurants on the highway he would like to enjoy a bite in. Sniffing the air, he looked over to the construction sites just outside the city. "Wow!" he gasped as he looked at the city as it was getting closer. It was even bigger than Los Angeles. The blonde couldn't help himself as he closed his eyes, and smiled. "Wonder if I'll get to fight super bad guys, like I don't know, Mech, or someone in general. Man, I'm pumped." Naruto gleefully thought as he looked at the horizon in front of him. The blonde couldn't help himself and started to have mad giggle come upon him. "Yosh, I'll show the world that the most powerful hero is none other than a fox." Inside the city night had fallen. The darkness cloaked the land as if the lone candle in the mine had been blown out. Regulating the area to the said darkness, a figure slowly walked. The figure wore a cloak obscuring any further detail. The figure stopped, and chuckling with a feminine laugh. "So, he has arrived." "Milady, he has," another figure said with a deep voice as he emerged from the shadows as well. "He may not even know it, but all is going to plan. We must find his herald, however. The girl has been tracked towards this hamlet as well." The male figure spoke as he slowly removed his hood, revealing spiky hair. "Shall I deal with him?" "No, our lord needs a strong spirit and body. He shall play the part just fine." The woman spoke as her cloak moved slightly. revealing a tip of a blade just hidden under the back of the cloak. Besides, it would be nice to see how far he's come along. Should we send in our test? The man inquired as he revealed a phone. No, belay it, for now we'll just wade in the ocean of shadows and observe, the woman answered as she turned around, revealing her face off a lamp post. Her eyes were unique, green in color, her hair was obscured by the hood of the cloak, but the toothy smile she had was not. She walked towards the edge of the alley, watching as a blond boy walked past the alley. She smirked, and watched the boy's shirt wiggle from the behind. She closed her eyes, before opening them to reveal red irises. In her vision, Naruto lit up like a star compared to his immediate surroundings. She chuckled as her eyes' pupils began to narrow into slits, his energy almost like a succulent dish that she craved. But before she further sensed him she stopped herself. A Kaishiju, new, smaller but feminine-sounding cloaked figure emerged from the top of a stairwell. Master Jinghu has called for us back at Coastal Lodge. Very well, we must report back anyhow, Akaishi spoke as she turned around, and waved everyone off. I'll be along shortly. Yes, mistress, the shorter female said as she looked at the male cloaked figure. Master, may we depart together? Yes, the male said as he extended his hand. The small cloaked girl took his hand, and disappeared in a faint green energy. Akaishi walked towards the end of the alleyway, and noticed the blond boy was talking to some of the locals of this city. She put her hand on the wall, clutching it slightly, as if she was looking for some support. Still a kid, 13 years for us is a month at best, little one. She closed her eyes, revealing their red color once more. However, the power I sense within you is great, much greater in potential than many highborn. You're a star, and these pathetic creatures are mere fragments of star dust compared to you. However, without us guiding you, you've grown attached. She smirked as she turned around, and began walking, dissolving from white and black flames, just like your mother. Naruto stopped talking to people. He felt an itch on the back of his neck, and turned around to see nothing was there. That's odd. Naruto mumbled. Sup little dude, you okay? One of the teens that Naruto had been talking to asked. Yeah, just got an itch. Usually that happens when someone strong is nearby, Naruto answered as he sighed. Well, thanks for the information, I'm going to get some food. Wait, didn't we just see you stop a guy trying to steal money from the steakhouse? One of the teens inquired. Yep, Naruto smiled, as he rubbed the back of his head. That was me, Dadabayo. You got a lot of free stuff, didn't you? Naruto nodded once more. So how are you hungry again? One of teens observed as he scratched. 'Cause, I'm a fox, and foxes have huge appetites. I just prefer good food over bugs, and whatever else I can get my hands on, Naruto answered honestly. Remind me to call you when we get a spider infestation then. Naruto suddenly turned ghost white at the teen's proclamation. And no, how about you don't? I don't eat spiders. Obliteration is the only thing I can do for you, as in, me plus fire equals house and all spiders burning. Naruto shook slightly as he produced a single flame at his right index finger. Chill out man, it's just a figure of speech, the teen said as he backed up slightly. Oh, right, speech, question, Naruto said, what's a speech? Oh, it's like an outward monologue, save you're talking to people, for an extended period, one of teens explained. Naruto blinked a little. So, if I was to start talking at random, wouldn't that be a speech? Good question, the teen said as he rubbed the back of his head. Hey, sorry dude, I got to go. What's your name? I'm Naruto, Uzumaki Naruto, Naruto said proudly, or, the Fox Boy for short. Cool, I'm Jason Nolte, I work in Tekametsu Noodle Bar. Naruto eyes lit up. Miso? Naruto almost yelled in question, please say you have miso. Yeah, we're open at 10:30, it's near the bridge, good view, Jason answered as he rubbed the back of his head nervously. Oh, Okay then, I'll be going, Naruto said as he began to walk away. A loud bang filled his ears, and he turned around to see the sky lighting up. His instincts told him to run for higher ground, and he did so by leaping into the air, and landing on the glass panels of the building, distributing his weight equally. The blonde began to run on all fours up the towering building. The banging got louder as a meteorite descended from the sky, towards the ground near Naruto. The blonde watched as the object smacked into the ground, and he felt something in his gut. His eyes narrowed into slits, and he felt an incredible itch on the back of his neck. Man, I just get here, and now the apocalypse happens. Sheesh, Naruto jumped off the building, rolling when he felt his feet hit the ground. He walked towards the meteorite, and looked down to see a metal pot of some kind, blinking slightly. He just looked around, before noticing several people coming to see the commotion. Jumping into the crater, the blonde went to touch the door. That's when he felt the metal slam onto him, careening him backwards, and smashing against the street after it lost its momentum. The blonde watched as a figure emerged from the smoke, a feminine-looking figure to be exact. Naruto noticed that she seemed to calm down, before he slowly inched his way towards, literally cautioning himself as he slid 1 foot at a time. The girl nudged her head to the side, the blonde just held his hands up. Everything seemed to be going okay, until she noticed the sword in his hands, and began charging energy bolts in both of her hands. Hey, what gives? Naruto shouted as he looked around, before his right eye began to twitch in realization. Crap. He had forgotten to lay down his blade. Rah! She screamed, before blasting Naruto into a car. Right before the impact, the blonde dropped his sword, and slammed into a building, his nerves making his leg twitch from pain as he slowly pulled himself from the rubble. The blonde opened his eyes, dizzy from the impact. He slowly got out of him imprint on the wall, falling face first in the process. "Oh," he groaned as she twitched on the ground. Slowly getting up, he dusted himself off before looking at the girl growling, "That's it." He roared in a rage. He had a red mist flow over him, and raised his hand into the air. "I'm ending this before you hurt anyone else." He raged as he clutched his hand. The girl looked at him, her eyes widened for a moment, before she looked on the ground and saw his sword where he had dropped it. Walking slowly, she reached down, and picked it up. She looked at him, before getting ready. "Hafemowaweheya." Naruto screamed as he saw her with his sword. The only thing she felt from him slamming his hand down was a large gust of wind. It took a moment for Naruto process, before his right eye twitched. "Can I have that back please?" His only response was her pulling the blade out herself, and examining. He cried comically for a second, before he watched her bite into the sword. The blonde's attack found its mark, making her blast backwards, and knocking the sword into the air. Naruto leaped upwards, grabbing his blade, and examining it. He almost cried openly as he saw several bite marks on it. "Rah, no, come on. The one time I fight someone powerful and my sword becomes a chew toy," Naruto spoke as he landed, before sighing, "For real Databe." The girl looked at him confused, smashing his palm into his face. He just showed her his sword. Before watching her chuckle, Naruto exploded in anger as a new cloak red mist energy flowed over him. His features changed slightly, his hair becoming slightly spikier, and flowing upwards. "From here on out, I'm fighting with everything I got, understood?" Naruto said with a low growl in his voice, before the red mist solidified into a fox-like shape around him. The blonde got ready to attack, but then heard something land behind him. He turned around to see a large reptilian creature standing there, a large halberd in his hands. He turned back towards the girl, before screaming, "What? He your bodyguard or something?" However, he could tell something was up when she backed away. "Oi, you there, fish face!" Naruto yelled, "You with her, whatever. Listen here, I'm all for fun and games, but the fun has ended." she's going to hurt people around here, so, you better get her understand. However, he noticed the reptilian guy smiling, before speaking. Oh, she's with me all right, she's an escaped slave from the Gordanian Empire, you'll be richly rewarded if you hand her over. Naruto's eyes bugged out, before he pointed at the being. Did you just speak English? I have a translator on my neck, see? The being said. He turned his neck to reveal the translator. Oh, neat, Naruto mumbled as he started to come out of his stupor. Wait a minute, didn't you say slave? Yes, I did, the being said as he looked at the girl, licking his lips, one that has been very bad. Oh, you see Naruto looked behind him, before noticing what seemed like fear laced over the girl's face. Crap, I can't just hand over someone, you know it's not against my religion, well sort of, I mean it's against a moral code of mine. Do you dare defy the Gordanian Empire? The being questioned as he gripped the halberd with both hands. Naruto looked back at the girl one more time, before sighing, you owe me big time for this if he's really telling the full truth. I guess, no, I know I am. Naruto reversed gripped his sword as he got ready. You can't just hold people against their will, especially people that didn't do anything wrong, i.e. slaves. Then you're to be executed in the name of the Empire. The being screamed as he charged at the blonde, swiping with his halberd. The blonde brought his sword up to defend himself, clutching the hilt with both hands, and staving off the being's attack. Reacting quickly, Naruto slid his way up the polearm of the halberd, and delivered a flurry of kicks to the being's gut. Rog! Naruto yelled. He pushed the halberd off, and attempted his own slash at the being. TSA. Naruto hissed as he felt the being's foot crash into him, and send him back careening into a car. Quickly recovering, the blonde dropped his blade down, before rushing forward. In this form, I can't risk doing the half moon, not here, I could accidentally hurt a lot of people. Naruto blocked another attack, and watched as the girl rushed towards the monster he was fighting, and punched. The blonde watched as the being careened back, sliding on his feet, until he came to a stop, offering her hand. The blonde smiled, and she helped him up. Oi, so can you understand me? Naruto inquired as she looked at him, confused once more. I'll take that as a no then, Naruto grumbled, before readying himself. Rafa! The being roared as he pointed his halberd at them, before he watched as a yellow light emerged from it. Oh come on! Naruto screamed as he pushed the girl out of the way, and managed to knock the beam of energy that emerged from the halberd into the air. It can double as a ranged weapon, and my only ally here can't understand me, Naruto planned. Should I go fully all out? Naruto rushed the being, before clashing weapons with him again, each of them swiping, and stabbing at each other. I'll crush you, Ra. The being said as it raised its foot up. Naruto's eyes widened, only to see a green energy bolt smack into the being. The being stumbled backwards a few feet, before this allowed Naruto's next move, dropping his blade, and focused most of the red mist around his hands and feet. The blonde rushed forward, kicking the being square in the chest. Dragon kick. The red mist exploded around him, losing the fox form as the blonde pushed the being back further, making him drop his halberd. Ah! Naruto roared as he kicked with his other foot, before interchanging the kicks out again, and again. Dragon barrage! Naruto roared out as he slammed his feet into the being, backing him up ever so slowly, and when he looked like he was about to attack, slammed his foot one last time in the being before blasting him backwards with a gale palm. Did you run out of batteries? Naruto questioned as she got back up, his form deactivating. "'Cause I'm about right there with you," the blonde said as he looked at the guy laying down, before he watched the thing get up. Naruto growled out as he watched being limply stand up, barely holding itself up. "You little bastard, such a strong creature, you've been a great warrior, richly rewarded." I don't think that translator is working good enough, dummy databao, but for the record I'm Uzumaki Naruto the fox boy. Naruto cried out as he tried to make himself look much more powerful than he originally did, but faltered when the cloak dissipated. Oh, what's wrong, all out of juice? The reptile said as he got up, walking towards them. What, me, no. I can go all day databao. Naruto shouted as he gripped his sword, I'm out of juice, really out of juice. Between fighting her and him back to back, my chakra level lowered considerably, especially from the healing I had to do to myself. The blonde just smirked as he jumps backwards, and grabbed his scabbard which had been laying on the ground, sheathing his blade, the blade with a click. The blonde, I think it's time for Tigre, Naruto muttered as he dashed backwards. The being charged at him, grabbing his halberd, and clashing with the scabbard with the sword which was unnaturally strong. Spinning on his feet while holding the halberd up, the blonde kicked the being's legs, making him back up. It was almost like a dance in a weird way. Naruto was the leader, his movements to be matched by his alien partner. When he got the being backed up against a car, he allowed the halberd to crash against the ground. You Liera! The being screamed as Naruto spun around, unsheathing his blade in the process, and cutting into the chest of the monster, Rafa. Take this, Gale Palm! Naruto screamed as he blasted the being square in the chest with the biggest attack he could muster with his remaining energy. The being became stunned as he stumbled about, before watching Naruto jump into the air, sheathing his sword, twin puncturing fox claw paralyzing technique. The blonde screamed as he slammed his fingers into various places on the being's body, making him hack up a wad of green blood. Damn it! The monster said as he stumbled forward slightly. What did you do? Punctured your pressure points, disabling you. You can't move, Naruto proudly said as he crossed his arms. Now look here, I'm gonna be taking that Transea. The blonde then felt a might fist crash into his small body, careening him backwards. The being chuckles as he picked up his halberd, before pointing it at the boy. I'm sorry kid, but I'm afraid that you missed a lot of mine. Foolish really. The beam began to charge, and the redhead girl just threw herself in front of him, trying to charge a green energy bolt. However, it wasn't a green energy bolt that hit the being next, it was a might blue ray of light. The ray of light carried with it a loud bang, making both Naruto and the girl turn their heads. Yo, who said you can come up in my town and wreck it, huh? The new person said as he pointed a strange device at the beast, his overcoat flapping to reveal one regular eye, but one red inorganic one, because I got plenty of more where that came from. More scum. The reptile said as picked his halberd back up. I'm an elite warrior, and so far, these two young ones have insulted me. That blonde there will be paying with his life. Now beat it, before I kill you as well. Naruto watched as the man in coat walked over to him, offering him a hand. Naruto smirked, grabbing it, and helped himself up. Don't know about dying, but I think if things go further south for you you'll be in space Mexico. The cloaked man looked at blonde boy. Not bad dude, your name? Uzumaki Naruto, freelance bad guy ass kicker, databao, Naruto said as he smirked. I don't know her name, but she doesn't speak human either. Well alright then, guess that about sums up what I got to work with. So, tell me, long range or a brawler? Naruto looked at him, smiling, before unsheathing his sword. I digress, Naruto spoke as he reversed gripped. I don't think I can do much though, I'm almost out of juice. Well, here's the plan, I'll attack first, and you try to get in few good shots, the coated guy said as he armed his device with a whirling of noise. Yash, gotcha. Naruto spoke in agreement as his tail began to wag. You're a fool. The monster roared out as he ran at them. The blonde turned to the girl, jumping in front of her, nudging her back. Hey Scram, we got this guy, just go because there might be more of him somewhere. The girl looked at him, before he groaned, I keep forgetting that she doesn't speak English, or any human language for that matter. Naruto braced himself, only to hear a loud roar, followed by loud footsteps. All three of them turned around, only to have a frigging T-Rex, a green one for that matter, leap over them. The tyrant lizard smashed its head into the charging Gordanian, before transforming into a green-haired and skinned boy. The boy jumped backwards. Looks like you guys need help, mind if I join in? Sure, your name? The boy turned to them, and smiled. Beast Boy, the green-skinned boy greeted. I'm Victor, and he's Naruto. The girl we're still trying to figure out, the coated man said as he sighed. Good to have more backup. Rag high. The monstrous Gordanian roared, what is this, a maggot factory? Nah, just a ragtag team of heroes dude, and you're way outclassed here, the one known as Beast Boy stated with gusto. Yeah, by the way, welcome to Earth, my name is Naruto, and I'll be a guide with my friends here to hell. Naruto roared out as he successfully made some red mists around him. Victor's cannon started to whirl up, and a loud hum could be heard coming from it, while the girls seemed to drop into a combat stance. Beast Boy began to transform into a gorilla, and beat his chest. The monstrous Gordanian flinched slightly as he backed up a little bit. Naruto looked at Victor, nodded, and began to charge. Beast Boy charged with him, barely keeping up. Naruto closed his eyes as he felt time slow around him. I'll come in with a light attack, soften him up. The shapeshifter can deal a heavy blow. Victor is going to throw him off with a range attack. This it. You're going down, Databeo. Naruto screamed as a blue stream of energy passed by him. The Gordanian's eyes widened as he was forced to block the hit, leaving him open to a stab from Naruto's blade, which he quickly acted on, and pulled out just in time for Beast Boy train into him. The Gordanian screamed as he was knocked back into a couple of cars. The last thing he saw, before darkness claimed him, was the blonde standing with three other young heroes, before seeing a red spandex-covered leg smash into his face. So, 3 hours eh? Naruto questioned as they all stood around a once again knocked-out alien. This time it sported a nice fancy large lump across the top of its dome. Complimentary service of one mad, stressed, cyborg. The said man, now without his overcoat, was walking back and forth in the alleyway the group chose to think in. The worst part of all, the alien girl Naruto saved, kissed Robin and ran off, warning them to just stay away from her. Fan-frigging-tastic. So, let me see the rundown of this. Robin is currently hunting for that girl that smashed faces with him. We're currently in this alleyway. We can contemplate on what may be our last day, nay I say last 3 hours alive. Meanwhile Naruto is asleep like a baby in the corner of the alley. Beast Boy complained as he paced back and forth as well, trying to keep from hyperventilating. Well, 2 hours, and 5 minutes, Victor commented as he leaned against the alleyway. Should have just stayed home like Graham told me to, but I just needed to walk for some fresh air. I just, should've, I don't know, not been anywhere near Jump City. I mean I was passing through when I saw you all fighting against that monster, and now we're in some deep mud without an extra pair of clothes. Beast Boy continued as he grasped his head. We'll cut it out, trying to focus. Naruto suddenly interjected as he opened his eyes, before all the injuries he had sustained began to steam. Focus? Focus on what? Are you saying that you got a plan B? Beast Boy yelled as both he and Victor looked at Naruto. Yep, plan B down, eh? Naruto quipped as they looked at him with fiery rage in their eyes, not really accepting the joke. Not funny right now, dude. Aren't you scared that you'll die? The blonde pursed his lips at Beast Boy's question, rubbing his chin, before shrugging and shaking his head. Nah, I'm all good, Databeo. Besides, worrying about death is overrated. Naruto hopped as he yawned. Besides, I was concentrating on recovering my energy. You mean restoring? Cyborg questioned while trying to correct Naruto. Same thing, Naruto retorted with pursed lips as he pouted slightly as he looked at the sky above them. See something? Beast Boy asked as he watched Naruto narrow his eyes. Nah, just a few lightning bugs. California sure has bright green lightning bugs, Naruto commented as he crossed his arms, and began walking towards the wall of the alleyway. Dude, exit is that way, are you serious right now? Beast Boy roared as he watched Naruto walk up the wall as if he would be walking normally on a sidewalk. I'm not running away, besides, we're in this deeper than ever now, this is no longer about that alien girl, Starfire, right? This about the people of this city. I came from across the US to help, and along the way I did so in other places. If you want to take a stand with me, you'll find me, if not you'll be cowering somewhere, Naruto quietly stated as he stopped walking. Dude! Beast Boy murmured. So, hold up, you saying we chicken? Victor questioned. No, I'm saying there is no quit, you do, or you die, Naruto told them as he continued to walk up the building. Stop firing at me! Robin screamed as he took cover behind a car. Do not follow me, they'll only want me, get it? Starfire screamed as she hurled another bolt of energy at Robin. You can't fight them by yourself, we'll help you, but you need to calm down. Robin yelled as he dodged out of the cover, throwing boomerangs at the bolts, making them blow up. I don't need your help, helping me is to die. Starfire screamed. You honestly think they'll just leave? I may not be a Xeno expert, but I doubt they'll just leave, you know that don't you? So just calm down, Robin calmly said as he hid behind cover. I'm their true prize, once they have me, they'll leave, Starfire stated as she looked around for the boy wonder. No, they won't. Don't you get it, they'll just enslave humans too. Why did you even run away from them then if you knew you'd be putting people in danger? Robin angrily yelled as he revealed himself. I just wanted freedom, Starfire sighed as she dropped her stance, before lowering her head. I'm a princess from my planet, that's why I'm their prize. Okay, first, stop referring yourself as a prize. Second, they aren't going to stop, Robin said as he approached her. Why do you care? Starfire inquired. Just trying to be nice, Robin answered quickly, without missing a beat. No, you won't even last a second against their slave army, Starfire sadly spoke as she turned to face the other way. Seriously, so that's it? You run away then, we're being nice enough to offer you a chance to redeem yourself in attacking others, Starfire glared at him as he told her off. The closest thing to nice in my language is weak. That's why you won't last, Starfire sighed. If it means anything, I'm truly sorry for bringing your people into this. Then stand with us, it's better than standing alone, you're strong, very strong in fact, why not have strength with others? Robin offered his hand as he smiled, successfully trying to defuse the situation of her running away. Starfire stammered trying to find her words, before sighing, I guess I have no choice. Robin smiled as she grasped his hand, before wincing at the grip slightly. That's when he heard someone walking towards them. It was Naruto who had his hands in his parka's pockets. The blonde looked at the two, before looking around. Hey! Naruto said as he looked around, before smiling, so, I guess you're going to fight as well. Affirmative, Robin said as he looked at Naruto smile. 1 hour left, right? Yeah, oh, and Naruto tried to remember the girl's name. Starfire in your language, the girl commented as she crossed her arms. You sure you want to go another round or two with these guys? Naruto questioned as his tail started to wag slightly. The question is, are you? Starfire inquired as he looked at him. I gave you a food fight, and Villas gave you a thrashing. What doesn't kill me, just makes me stronger, Naruto commented as his smile brightened. I don't know the word quit. So you sure you want this fight? Robin questioned. Of course, I am Databayo. Naruto exclaimed as he smiled brightly. What's your story? Robin questioned. The blonde reached behind him grabbing his scabbard, and soon held his scabbard in front of them. Inside of it was his sword. I'm from Japan's Fuji mountain actually. I was raised by an old hermit there, and he passed along his knowledge on to me. One of his hopes for me was to never back down from what I believe. And I believe I'm going to kick some ass, Databayo. The blonde had a brighter smile as he spoke, before spinning the scabbard around, and putting back in the grooves on his parka. Starfire and Robin nodded as they walked over towards him. Naruto stood on a building as he looked at the moon. He had his eyes closed as the others were looking at each other. They had managed to scrounge up another teen, Raven, a girl in a purple robe. The blonde opened his eyes before turning around, and looked everyone. So, this is a little awkward to ask, but does anyone have any family? Naruto questioned. No, the girl, Raven, said. Grandparents, Victor said as he crossed his arms. Family in Europe, just that I just went to strike my own. Beast Boy spoke as he sighed. Biggest mistake I think. Classified, Robin commented. Oh, I can already tell you're a party pooper, Naruto quipped as he crossed his arms chuckling. So, what's your name? The girl in purple inquired. Uzumaki Naruto, the fox boy, Naruto commented as he leaned against the end of the chimney on the building. I'm Raven, nice to meet you all, the girl timidly spoke as he looked at everyone. Nice to meet you too, Starfire solemnly spoke as she fidgeted slightly, looking up in the sky. Naruto looked at her, before frowning. Not far. No, at least 30 Ines, Starfire commented, minutes in your language. The blonde sighed as he slowly smiled. Fight them like you fought me, and we'll be fine. Don't hold anything back, Databayo. Have my back, and I'll have yours. You know, kid, for just meeting you, I like ya, Victor stated as he began to smile. I just hope you can back up your words. I carry 3 aces at all times, my club, my diamond, and my spade, Naruto commented as he pointed at his sword, forehead, and heart. The old hermit I trained under taught me how to propel my powers temporarily above their limits. Well, that sounds cool, Beast Boy commented as he looked at everyone. You scared? Robin asked. Yeah, but I'm not scared I won't make it, I'm scared that I'll fail, Beast Boy spoke as he held his head downwards, before looking up at the sky. Then use that fear is a very good motivator, Robin commented. Batman taught me that. Who is this man of bats? Starfire inquired. My mentor, one of the greatest heroes in the world, Robin said as he frowned, and sighed. I trained under him, but he was always had his way of thinking and I had mine. Dude, you broke away from Batman? Beast Boy inquired. Must have been something bad. It wasn't, we just disagreed on a lot. I occasionally talked to him here and there, Robin explained as he looked Naruto. You still talk to your master? My master died when I was younger, Naruto answered. However, me and him were like grandson and grandfather. He raised me from diapers, and taught me to fight. So, why fight? Beast Boy inquired. Because man, look at us. The only normal-looking one of us besides Robin is Raven. I got a tail, you're green, and Victor there is half human and half machine, Naruto pointed out. Yeah. Victor said with a frown, don't like talking about it. I think we should, because dude you did awesome, Beast Boy said. I think if we can rely anyone here it'll be you. Victor smiled at that. You sure, String Bean? Yeah man, we gotcha, right Raven? Beast Boy asked. Sure. Raven said as she looked around, before sighing, I'm sorry if I'm being weird. Girl, you're in a cavalcade of oddballs. We got an ex-wingman of a legendary hero, an alien princess, a weird fox boy trained from diapers by his own account to fight, me a cyborg, and finally Broccoli over here, Victor joked as he patted her back. Hey! Beast Boy yelled in argument. Oh come on dude, besides you can transform to anything right? Victor questioned. Not really, only natural animals, and earth ones at that. Beast Boy rubbed the back of his head embarrassed. Oh cool, you can turn into a dragon, right? Naruto exclaimed. No, no fairy tale creatures either. Beast Boy hung his head even lower. But you transformed into a dinosaur earlier. Naruto pointed out. Well, that's about as advanced my powers go. Beast Boy chuckled at Naruto's reaction. Naruto doesn't fall too far behind, Starfire stated as she looked at him. We've already battled. Truth be told, I don't know if I was going all out. I've never really, fought to the death. Everyone looked at Naruto with a pale expression, and their eyes twitching. Dude, so all that battling was after fighting her, and you're saying you haven't gone all out? Beast Boy added. Yeah, I mean I ran out of energy, but that's because I've been going non-stop for 2 days straight ever since getting here from LA Databao, Naruto commented as he rubbed the back of his head. So how old are you? Robin inquired. 13 winters. Naruto loudly spoke as he pumped his chest out. Winters? I mean years. Naruto's eyes went white for a moment at the question, and he fidgeted a little. I don't know, Naruto commented as he chuckled. The old man never really told me exactly. A loud explosion suddenly filled the air around. The teens, all of them, looked up as they saw a large shadow pass over their building. The blonde turned around, and looked up, his mouth agape, and pointed at the ship. Sugoi, it's Big Databao. Ah, crap, Beast Boy stated as they saw the ship hang over the city. Robin, Raven, and Victor all stayed silent. The ship turned about, and soon a loud buzz filled the air as the ship started to just hover, causing a large windstorm to kick up. Naruto gripped his palms hard, and focused on the ship's wide assortment of movement. Gorsak, their ultimate slaver ship, Starfire muttered. She fidgeted slightly as she looked at the ship. However, everyone watched as Naruto smirked as he saw several figures start to fly out from the ship, following closely behind by an even louder screeching noise than the buzzing, before they all heard a voice over the entire. This is the Gordanian slaver ship Gorsak. We are here to retrieve very valuable property. If you wish to live, hand over the one known as Starfire by morning of this side of the planet. Failure will be met with our particle lance blowing you all away. Everyone fidgeted, and Robin looked at Starfire. You forgot to mention the super weapon. Still wanna fight? She retorted only to hear Naruto chuckling. Oi, oi. The blonde yelled as he brought both hands to his side. I'll give you something else, Databao. The group watched as the objects coming from the ship headed straight for them. The blonde was the first to meet up with the horde. They were already on the streets, terrorizing people as they walked about, various species of bipedal aliens, each wearing a collar to make sure that they stayed loyal to the invasion. Gale Palm. Naruto shouted as he reached the first one, blasting it point blank with his Gale Palm. The alien blasted backwards, and slammed into a car. The forces all around the blonde immediately looked at him, while he quickly removed his sword, holding it in a reverse grip. One alien, a large slinky humanoid figure, thin arms and legs, pointed a strange rifle at him. The blonde jumped backwards, blasting it with a Gale Palm. That's when the roar of a large alien made him turn around, and grab it by two of its many horns. Kumslak Dula. The alien screamed as it shook Naruto around, only to see the sword on the ground. Ha! Naruto screamed as he lifted the large alien, and slammed it on the ground, before slinging it across his field of vision. The alien slammed into others, knocking them out of the fight as well. A whirling noise was heard by the blonde as he saw what he could only describe as a fighter jet coming at him at high speeds. The blonde bent down and clutched his sword, before visible wind formed around it. Half Moon. Naruto screamed as he slung the blade upwards, a trail of pale red wind heading for the jet-like machine. The alien inside the aircraft screamed as the jet was sliced in half and blew to pieces, creating a red luminous effect around the area. The blonde took the opportunity to grab his senbon, and began to throw them with one hand at random nearby aliens. One of the aliens, a Gordanian with a slave collar, charged at a group of people hiding under a bus. Naruto's eyes opened wide as he ran towards him full speed, and jumped into the air, dragon kick. He shouted as he slammed his right foot into the alien, and made it careen into the side of the building. "Get out of here!" Naruto screamed as he began rapidly blocking energy blasts from various rifles, while using his left to fire off random gale palms at the enemy shooting at him. The people scattered, running into a nearby department store. The blonde spun around and deflected a rather large energy heading for him. The beam of energy traveled into the sky, catching another of the enemy's fighters. Just as the jet exploded, Cyborg and Starfire flew through it. The redhead alien was blasting left and right at anything that wasn't on the ground. The duo flew higher into the sky, where Cyborg managed to hold Starfire with one hand as he began to blast at anything coming at them with a rapid-fire variant of his cannon. "Hold on!" he screamed as he suddenly flipped backwards, going into a nosedive to avoid a squadron of the aircraft heading for them. They flew so fast that they couldn't tell when they needed to pull up, but on instinct alone Cyborg managed to get them on the ground safely. They stood side by side as they both began blasting the sky full of both blue and green energy blasts. The display was almost watching flak cannons fire, energy blasts exploding as they reached a certain distance, taking some of the aircraft with them. They both took aim at several fighters heading for Naruto's position, blasting them right out of the sky. However, they both failed to notice the patrol of aliens heading right for them. Starfire turned around just into to block a blade meant for Victor, and punch one of the aliens into a nearby building. Cyborg himself grabbed one of them, and threw them in the opposite building. Just then they saw a red streak appear in front of them, before seeing a furious blonde as he roared out, unleashing more of the red mist. "Oi bastards, I said we weren't finished." Naruto screamed as he began to throw his hands in random directions. The duo looked at each other, before turning around, and refocusing their power onto the airborne enemies. A rather large alien, 12 feet tall, and burly, charged towards them. The loud rumble of earth made Naruto turn around, only to watch as a green T-Rex smashed into it from out of nowhere, and began to swipe at enemies with its long tail. Removing his blade, the blonde held it above his head. Before slamming it down, a large gash formed on the ground in from him as he sent the sharp wind into a tanker trunk. The truck exploded, sending aliens flying in whichever direction the force of the explosion would send them. Naruto breathed heavily as his cloak faltered slightly, and he smiled. "This feeling, I'm actually getting a little tired. Don't go slacking off yet." Cyborg yelled as he blasted an alien on the ground with his other cannon arm. I don't think I'll be slacking off anytime soon. Besides, I've never had this much fun." Naruto screamed as the cloak once again ignited in its full glory. Two large blue spheres formed in Naruto's hands as he roared out, and he began to charge at the enemies. He slammed the two spheres into two separate large aliens, and watched as they got blasted back into two groups of unfortunate aliens. Starfire began to focus on the ground as the air began to clear, while Cyborg kept firing at random fighters in the sky. The blonde fox boy was backing up as he kept blasting them with gale palms from one hand, and slicing at them with weaker versions of Half Moon with his sword in his right palm. They were soon all three back to back as they kept blasting at enemies left and right, Azarath, Mitri and Zenthos. They heard as they watched a group of aliens with black energy surrounding them blast towards over their heads, and into a group of leaping aliens. This was followed by multiple explosive being thrown over them, before a flash of light appeared, which both blinded the other teams, but also the aliens. Naruto was the first to recover, and noticed that most the aliens were still out of it, and took the opportunity to blast them all. Robin appeared beside Naruto, and move up with him, his staff spinning in his left hand. How's it going? Not good, Robin said as he looked at the still blinded army as they began to recover. There is way too many of them, and Raven is struggling to keep up. Don't worry, because I think it's time for my first trump card, Naruto spoke with a smile as he threw Robin back. The boy wonder watched as the blonde roared out. A massive spike of red mist formed an unrecognizable shroud of energy around him. Suddenly smoke, lots of smoke, appeared around him, and everyone else. They all stopped, and watched as Raven walked over to them. What happened? She inquired as she saw many figures in the smoke. No. Cyborg spoke as he watched as the smoke cleared, and many red-eyed blondes stood in the street. Oh yes, Naruto said with a proud smirk, behold my shadow clone army. Question, why didn't you use that beforehand? Beast Boy asked as he appeared with the group. They all die in one hit, and using them against single targets is just a waste. However, since this is technically a war, I think I need to even our field of play a little bit. Everyone listen up. Naruto screamed as his clones turned towards him. Hi! They all shouted in unison. Kick their asses! Naruto ordered as his cloak dispersed, and he began to charge at a new alien battalion making their way up the street. The team watched as the literal dozens of half-human fox boys roared and charged along with their creator. They each all took out their swords, and with a mighty roar screamed as they clashed with dozens of different aliens all vying for freedom of their own. Starfire, Cyborg, keep supporting him, Raven, Beast Boy, and me will start trying to evacuate any civilians that are still caught in the area. They all nodded at Robin's orders, and Cyborg once again grabbed Starfire and blasted off into the sky. Inside the control room of the large T-shaped ship, the leader of the Gordanian ship looked at the video feed coming into his room. Slamming a fist into the side of his chair, he got up, and watched as the blonde human-like being dared to push back his slave army. Lord Togar, the another Gordanian spoke in their language. These humans are not willing to surrender, and the slave princess is with them. Your orders. Togar smirked as he walked over to the controls of the ship. Jar, there is an old Gordanian saying, that if the enemy wishes for something, give it to him, until he begs you to stop. His hand flipped a switch which brought the weapon systems of the ship. If they will not surrender, and the slave princess wishes to watch more die for her, then we'll make it so. All controlmen bring up particle lances systems to stand by. Focus all mass driver cannons on location of our forces. Order and imitate retreat prior to barrage. Togar instructed as he took his seat, and smiled menacingly at the screen in front of him. If they want more war, give them more death. Naruto punched a Gordanian in the face repeatedly, knocking it out before he kicked it away with a dragon kick, and held his hand out to girl that was being attacked by the large alien. Hey, come on, get out of here, it's safe to go back. The little girl nodded as she began to run, and watched with a smile as his clones made the forces retreat. He sheathed his sword, and looked up on the buildings where Starfire and Cyborg were blasting away at anything retreating. The blonde sighed as his cloak deactivated, making his clones deactivated as well. He flopped on the ground, putting his hands behind his head, before looking up at the ship. Any more tough guys? He questioned loudly as he relaxed. I can go all day, he continued as Cyborg and Starfire landed next to him. Dude, you're one awesome and weird little guy, Victor praised as he hailed out his fist. Naruto smirked before getting up, bumping fists with Cyborg as he stretched, before looking at a very nervous Starfire. Something isn't right. Cyborg and Naruto looked at her. Gordanian never forced their armies to retreat, unless... Starfire's eyes widened as she looked up at the ship, before hearing loud booms. Naruto turned to see the ship begin to randomly fire across the city block they were at. The explosions were big enough to break into the ground, revealing the sewer system under the street, also taking out any glass windows within the area. Tops of buildings caved when more blasts hit them, and Naruto gritted his teeth as he saw a barrage coming their way, clapping his hands together, and looked at his comrades and nodded. Rapid fire gale palm. Naruto screamed as he began thrusting his palms into the air, blasting as many as he could. Cyborg and Starfire did the same. All however were fruitless as the mass projectiles began to slam around them. Naruto, taking a last-ditch resort, grabbed his sword from his back, and began to cut the projectiles randomly as he ran around the area. One managed to hit him however, and knocked him clear across the street, and into little girl he had rescued earlier. He watched as she struggled to get up, decided to shield her with himself, lying flat against the ground. He tucked her under him, began to form more of the cloak towards his back. Star, we got to kill those guns, if we don't we're gonna die. Cyborg screamed as he pointed his cannon at the ship, and began to fire rapidly himself. Starfire did the same, but out of the corner of her eye watched as Naruto hugged a civilian under himself, and took direct hits from one gun that seemed to be trained on him, his cloak almost breaking in the process. Graph. Starfire screamed as she fired a beam at the said cannon, blasting it to pieces. Slowly, but surely the barrage of cannon fire began to die down. Naruto slowly got up, looking at the little he had just protected. She had been knocked unconscious from one of the shockwaves, and gritted his teeth in anger as his eyes turned red once more. Robin and Raven came running over. Beast Boy came shortly after in the form of cheetah, and looked at the area. Dude, that's like an entire city block. Naruto gripped his fists tighter. Gordanian warships always barrage an unyielding opponent. Starfire commented solemnly, they do not give the care of what their target is. Clenched his eyes shut, before turning around. Naruto, dude, you okay? Cyborg commented as Naruto shook with what he thought was fear. Get on that ship. Naruto hissed as he slowly walked forward towards a now approaching slave army. Huh? Beast Boy questioned as he watched as thin red cloak appeared once again over Naruto, but flickered slightly. His eyes snapped open, revealing deep red irises, much darker than normal as the cloak began flicker much around him. He turned around as he looked at his ragtag team, and screamed, I said find a way to get on the damn ship. He ran towards the army, unsheathing his sword. Wait! Starfire yelled, only to feel a hand on her shoulder. He's right, he's the only one that can create a counterbalance to the army we just faced. He needs us on that ship to destroy it. Robin spoke as he looked at everyone. Any ideas? Beast Boy commented. I may have one. Raven spoke up as she looked at everyone. Naruto shook more, and more, his steps digging into the gravel from buildings slightly as he walked. A flying piece of glass from a gas explosion came, and cut his face slightly below his right. He didn't flinch as a small trickle of blood slowly flowed from wind, and he watched as the army just stood there. You think I'm scared? I'm shaking all over, because you think I'm afraid? Naruto spoke with a hiss as he brought his hands to his side, and a loud boom of energy exploded around him as his shaking became more intense. I'm not afraid of you, I'm afraid of no one, not even a demon. You, and no one else will ever make me beg for my life. You'll never make me back down from a fight, and you will never ever make me surrender. Naruto screamed as he clenched both his hands tight enough to have his fingers dig into his skin. Your first mistake was blowing up a city block, and harming innocent people. Your second mistake was furthering the harm by sending down an army, and your third one? Strike 3 is that you made me mad, Dadabayo. Naruto yelled as he stumped both feet into the ground, and a red mist-like energy exploded all around him. The blonde roared as the energy exploded off him in waves of dark red wind flowed from him. His features changed so slightly, his ears, rounded, became more pointed, and his once blonde hair slowly changed into a tinge blood orange from the energy around him. Come on. Naruto screamed as he flayed his open in a welcoming gesture as his lips turned slightly darker than normal, and dark black rings formed around his eyes. Raven, and the team teleported onto the ship, and luckily not out in the open either. She stopped, collapsing onto the floor as she held her head. She shook, she looked at everyone around her. Something is happening groundside. The Gordanian slave army descended, all of them charging with great ferocity as they began to fire with their weapons. The blonde dodged the blasts as he cried out as he began form flame inside of his hands. You all want to die so badly, here, burn in hell. Naruto screamed as he spun around on one foot as a giant twisting flame formed around him. The aliens caught in the red flames screamed out as they began to disappear inside the flames, before Naruto stopped as he watched some of the alien army retreat. Wrath. Naruto charged as he jumped out of the dissipating flame twister, impacting into a group of aliens, which he then began to either punch or kick hard enough to send careening into the ground. The raging youth grabbed a Gordanian's fist as it attempted to punch him from behind. The blonde slowly turned his head, his eyes locking with the alien, making it shake. Are you too mad like I am? Naruto soullessly inquired as he crushed the being's hand with a blast of energy from his cloak, breaking every bit of its bones up along its arm. The being backed away, only to have a sword sticking out of its back no sooner than it started to retreat. You all don't get that luxury, for I am Uzumaki Naruto, and I am death, Naruto growled as he slowly pulled the blade from the being's chest. You all want to know what's scarier about all this? Naruto commented as he slung blade, making all the greenish-blue blood from the Gordanian sling off it. It's been a while since I could just let go. The blonde smirked as he held a palm out, which made his cloak disperse into tiny blue and red orbs around him. I'm not human, nor am I whatever the hell the other half of me may be. Naruto continued to talk as the dozens of red and blue orbs slowly came together. I'm a raging demon from hell, Databeo. Naruto yelled as a basketball-sized purple sphere formed in his hand. He began to revert to his normal state as he held the sphere. Allow me to show you around. The dozens of aliens scrambled as they all tried to get away. Naruto waited as he watched them retreat into their transports. Before watching them fly off, he smirked, and soon the orb in his hand faded away as he simply took a long and soothing deep breath. Finish the mission, guys, Naruto spoke into the air as he fell backwards, totally exhausted of all energy, and soon fell unconscious on the ground. A rip in his shirt revealed a malformed, but reforming black tattoo near his abdomen.